Hello, mate.
Rascal.
Wagwan.
What's happening, fella?
I'm doing this interview, man. What's happening?
What's interview?
For the documentary, the Grime documentary. Proper things, man.
When you doing it?
I'm doing it now, man. Come.
Oh my God, I ain't got no trim, cuz I look like a fucking old washed up.
Wear a hat, man.
No, problem, no.
Fam, it's not fashion week, man. This is why nothing gets done.
Don't say a word, my brother.
Alright, see you in a bit. He ain't coming. there was there. No, he ain't coming.
Grime was about my reality through music. As long as it was at 140 BPM, it was grime.
It's very aggressive, it's very fuck the system. The DIY method of, if you want something done, just do it yourself.
Being kids, coming from the street, we always felt that it was us against the world.
I don't know what changed with our generation, why we wanted to tell stories about our lives and about where we're from. I just know that we made music that didn't sound like anything else this country has witnessed. People definitely thought it was a phase. It wasn't gonna last. But it's just such a part of our story now, such a part of culture.
It's taken a lot of sacrifices. Like when you hear what people went through, the struggles, the money. Back in the day, it's a different world.
East London in the 90s, quite a rough area, the usual shit going on, just on the street, crime, you know, just getting up to mischief for your friends.
You ain't got nowhere to go, you ain't got nothing to do. So that's what we was doing, just hanging out on the streets, getting up to stuff in and out of, you know, little things, checking girls, just as you do at that age, you know, just trying to find a motive. And Dizzee lived around there as well.
I felt more community on the estate than anywhere I've ever lived. And you knew everyone was your mate, everyone was your cousin, that's what it was like. But it was when I moved to the suburbs, it got a bit lonely still.
To me, the area was one big playground. Working class British, creating our own fun. Rolling up a bunch of socks to make a football and play in the hallway.
As long as I can remember, like, music has always been played loud in my house. Surrounded by records, the rooms are filled up with speakers. My dad, being a sound man, having a sound system.
The way I'm gonna grow my son is I'm gonna grow him as an individual and compare him to nobody. He's got to do the best for himself, because if he doesn't, the system's gonna get him, man.
Early reggae, ragga, dancehall, ska, like a lot of it was born from people wanting to express themselves and they wanted to be heard and not being able to be heard other than through their music.
Being children of the Windrush generation, that does have some kind of effect maybe on our psyche. It's like, yeah, don't wait for them, you got to do it yourself.
There are far too many immigrants in this country.
In the ghettos.
Wherever I play, there's always the police. Because it's a reggae dance, and they fight me down.
There is nowhere that people mix in England, like in the sound system dances, black and white.
During the 1980s, they were taking, you know, the sound system culture of generations previous and putting a fresh spin on that. There was a feeling of you know, people wanting to be more in tune with their identity, and this identity was Black British.
All about the struggle, and about freedom, trying to dream and looking for things. Most Black families, especially stemming from Jamaica, would have been involved in some capacity in the sound system. My mum and dad were in the sound system. All my uncles, my brother, and then passed on to me.
All right, we got Aladdin's cave, this is Bushkin's cave. That's my old Super Nintendo, but that's not what I'm looking for. Oh my gosh, let me get over there. This is heartless, real shit. My brother had everything, and these were the decks, techniques. He had his sound system. We set up in his bedroom, and I would have been going into his room, trying to mix on his decks, messing around. He'd be coming home and catching me and trying to beat me up. 92, we've decided to start our own sound system, and then I came up with the name Heartless Crew.
Feel my female skanker, I'm always gonna love ya. If I can't have ya, I won't hurt ya, my female.
What I would say, and it's like, Wiley's the godfather of grime. Heartless Crew are actually the father of grime. People don't even know where grime come from. Probably half of these grime artists, they don't even know.
But why in the corner? Outside whistle cool, lights are cool.
This was like the ragga days. I think in the 90s, the music was a lot more fun. These were the days of string vests, your Vikings, your ballet, your ragga boots, your dress to the nines, basically. All the other youth sound systems, they were just playing music and almost trying to emulate what was happening in Jamaica. In my mind, I thought, you know what, there's so much more we can do.
The Heartless Crew will now demonstrate exactly how they create a rave atmosphere.
DJ, when I'm in the bed, I'm putting out, and mama always out, never bow, but man, never do when I'm in down low, whatever brings that's what I go now.
Do you like jungle music?
Yeah, right.
What do you like about it?
The beat, you know, like jungle music.
Rude boy.
Back up to the gate, the figure. Put some bad sound, back up to the gate, the figure.
So in 95, what's happening at this time? Jungle's creeping in. Heartless Crew still playing at ragga, but now what we've done, we've incorporated jungle into our sound system.
Do you know what? It's hard to define jungle because it's kind of like a feeling, but it's a uniquely British sound, and it's like a fusion of everything.
You got to stop this, yeah? Stop talking shit, man. Fucking hell.
This is one of the seminal tunes at the time. It was Super Sharp Shooter by DJ Zinc. It'd be handy if I played it at the right speed, innit? It has to have that bass line. I don't know if it's a West Indian culture thing or anything, but I need to feel that bass in my chest, and nothing incorporates that more than jungle music.
And it kind of became the sound of London.
The more ragga influenced the music became, the more MCs got involved.
Yeah.
Ram, we no skin, we no play. When me shut the microphone, I mess with the DJ. Make you jump up and down, now move around and swing and sway. The lyrics up my mouth like a Uzi a spray. Me say lyrics to make you ball up, oh, lyrics to make you say hey hey. Hey, but that's so move your body with no delay, yo. Say yo.
MCs became prevalent because we weren't really playing vocals, so they became the vocal instruments to our tunes.
I even hear them grime MCs quote them in their songs.
100%.
Are you ready for the back-to-back special?
The scene was building up. I'll go to school, so we'd be like, right, you know about Shabbity and Skibbity, and then they'll be like, yeah, and then saying their lyrics to people. We used to just do freestyles in the playground. But I was so young, I wasn't even allowed to go to raves or anything like that. I was way too young for any of that. My parents wouldn't even allow me to go out to the bloody park, let alone go to a jungle rave. So literally I was just consuming it from the pirate radio.
We'd kind of all grown up listening to pirate radio. Your mum would always have pirate radio on a Sunday morning.
Pirate radio is an illegal broadcasting station, basically.
Without pirate radio, we wouldn't be having this conversation. My first experience of pirate radio was listening to Cool FM, which was a jungle station. I'd be taping sets regularly every week in, week out, and I just wanted to do that. Same with like a lot of the people who was in my area. Genius, him and Slimzy were starting to learn about how to actually rig up a station. And I remember G saying to me, we're gonna try and do a station. Like, hold tight, I'll give you a shout. Whatever else, a few months went down the line, and he called me one day, I was like, we're going on air this weekend, Rinse FM. We're starting, do you want a show? Rinse FM, as far as grime music goes, birthed so many names.
Come back. So this is Victoria Park. We're in the border of Bow, Hackney. When Rinse switched on, originally, we switched on over here, and them tower blocks over there. Right up there is where Wiley lived when we was young, when we first switched on the radio. So we had the radio in his bedroom. So we'd move between Wiley's house and Slim's house, depending on like whose parents we could slide it past.
Bare floors, boy. You're gonna be scared of it.
In East London, I used to set up pirate radio for Rinse. I was 16, first started rigging up on the 3 flats, Bow. It's risky, do you know what I mean? Like, I had no fear them times.
Why?
I just used to love it. Like, you get a buzz from it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you ain't supposed to be doing it. It's something illegal.
This is back in the day, me climbing into the lift shafts.
You weigh about 1 stone.
No one else could get down here, only me. So I had to set up a pirate radio station. So that's the transmitter. It's not that complicated in there, look. So that connects to one of these things. So this is a link box. This is the microwave horn. We'll go choring these out the top of the traffic lights, where the fire engines and that use. You plug this into here, and then this sends a signal to the LMB that we should steal off of people's satellite dishes. I could go from here to North London or something with this. This is the girder key. The only way to get these was from the fire brigade or from the council. This is the master one as well, so this could get us onto any roof in East London.
I was up every night putting on rigs. That's why Rinse was so big.
Right, stinks up there.
Do you like being up there?
Yeah. That's like an home.
I used to listen to Rinse FM as a kid and just want to be like them MCs and DJs. That's what I wanted to do. I used to call live call-ins, that I sat there, that I was religious with that. The better stations had the better transmitters that would cross over to all the other areas. That's why I like the Rinse FMs were bigger, because their shit spread out further. It weren't really censored. It was more closer to your community. Even if you was listening to some African pirate radio station or some reggae radio station, and then all the cooler people were on them stations, the Wileys. And if you like into jungle, Cool FM, that's the station to be on. And then Mission, if you was listening to, you know what I'm talking about, innit? Right. And then Soulsol would have been on Delight. Fucking hell, Delight FM. Jeez.
Pirate radio for us was the gateway. There, this block here, this is where the first Delight FM was. Can't remember what floor. I can't remember the name of the girl that we used to use her flat. But yeah, it was in there. We were hood famous before we signed any record deals. As soon as we would make a track, that would be on like rotation on our radio station.
So we were just pretty much doing our thing, getting into clubs, going up to people like PSG and encouraging him kindly to give us the microphone.
Solid.
As times changed, jungle got a bit violent, loads of trouble, lots of crack smoking. It's sad, but this is just how it was. Garage was a bit more loving scene. So when you come to the garage scene, if a man steps on your shoes, he'll go to the bar and buy you a drink. And what's happening then, the MCs were behind the DJ, out of sight almost. When Heartless Crew came into garage, we changed that whole dynamic.
Man, the man them from long time for the man them. I put my neck on the line, we don't shop work, neither Bobby, but everything's fine. Ankles G, me and the man.
I think that they were the first to like start rapping over garage instrumentals. That was their thing completely. So that was very like inspiring for us, man.
It made it more about the MC than the DJ. The garage guys at the time hated us for it. They thought we were spoiling the music. But we had the youths lot. These elements that we bring into garage are the basis of grime.
Did you find this record, man? Damn. Oh, God. Where's all that? It's like 2000 now, right? The garage scene is very commercial, soft. Obviously, the street elements now come into the scene. All the MCs, the Heartless Crew, Soul Solids, Pay As It Goes, they are running things, I mean. So I thought, yeah, I'm gonna start fusing the garage with the American hip-hop. I mean, they used to call me hip-hop man, but I was going to New York, coming back all in his clothes and his haircuts. So I was bringing their trend back to London, you know what I mean? I like the bass line from the garage, but I like the hard beats from the hip-hop. See this? Drop top Bimmer Kid. This is an iconic piece of plastic, man. So all you grime heads who think you know about grime, before your Wileys, before your... all them lot, I was doing this stuff.
Drop top Bimmer Kid.
This is the underground dirty. I mean, dirty. I love that tune, man.
Drop top Bimmer Kid.
That was a UK culture, where New York had hip-hop, we had UK garage. UK garage is massive. We had our own labels. We didn't need majors. We was all independent. So the big Sonys and whatever it is, the Sonys and EMIs, whatever they were, try to kill it off. I break it down as drug format, yeah? So you understand. Moderno is cocaine, So Solid is crack. EMI suddenly start realizing, wait a minute, sales are going down. Hey, why ain't cocaine selling no more? Shit, there's a new drug in town, it's called crack. What's this crack? I don't know, So Solid. So what they gonna do? We're gonna buy the #1 crack artist, buy them off, and make him start sell cocaine.
D's never fading, stuck and stay strong till I'm bathing. PH to the D's never phasing. I run it to my enemies of erasing.
Obviously, 21 Seconds blew up, it just went crazy.
And the winner is 21 Seconds.
So solid. I got 21 seconds to go. Cause if you like me, let me know. Let me in the studio. I got 21 seconds before I got to go. Did you see me on the video? Oh no. Did you see me on the video? Oh no. So if you like me, let me know. I was a new dad at 17 and we had nothing. You know, we were living in that flat with no fridge, no cooker. You know what I mean? For the first how many months we were there or whatever. So having some sort of income that was steady was amazing for me.
I don't even know what to say.
So Solid, they've just gone #1 single, #1 album. Forget underground. They were probably the biggest group in UK music at the time.
You gotta understand, when I'm growing up, what's on my TV screen? Yeah. What's on my TV screen that I can relate to as a black man? There was nothing until So Solid.
And that's the first time that I can be like, rah, they look like us, but they're just from South London, we're from East London. So that kind of put the battery on my back to be like, yo, like this little freestyle thing we're doing, like, we should take it a bit more seriously. The year 2001, I've come across the Oi instrumental. I said, yo, let me try something.
Oi, who's that bully for me? Oi, who's that bully for me? Oi, who's that bully for me? The one around back and just don't give it a like, uh-oh, there's that bully for me. Uh-oh, there's that bully for me. Uh-oh, there's that bully for me.
When I first started making music, for me to get my head around it, I used to listen to tracks and try and remake them. So it was like, I heard, oi, who that bully for be? Oi, who's that bully for be? And I thought, you know what, I can replay that.
Who's that bully for me? Who's that bully?
We charted in the top 10, and then we're doing all these top of the pop things and all these big TV stations. This is like the end goal. We want to have success, take it from the underground and cross over.
Who's that bully?
And then it just went a bit funny when the police got involved.
We were riding high. At that point, we started to create a business and a structure, and we were just handling our own shit. Being kids coming from the street, you had, you know, the gangs and people that followed the music were from that lifestyle, and sometimes having all of those people in one place, it meant carnage.
Can I ask you what happened then?
Well, we were in the club having a rave, and all of a sudden there was a lad bang, and someone
Lights come on, the crowd was running back, and we saw a boy drop to the floor,
and his head was all bleeding, and the rumour was that he got shot in his head.
The street element is now getting more publicised in the music. At one point, garages in all the clubs, and they got shut down. No more garage in West End. You couldn't play a garage record. It was banned.
If police want to try and hit you where it hurts, they're going to hit you with live performance, because that's where you make your money. At that point, where gun crime was rising in the UK, we just became a target. I think in the House of Parliament, they were talking about us and just that kind of our effect. Basically, we were made the scapegoat for what was happening in the streets. That's not to say that we weren't making it easy.
Ashley Walters arrived at Southwark Crown Court knowing he would end the day behind bars. He'd pleaded guilty to owning a gun at an earlier appearance.
I had my trial and went to jail, was sentenced to 18 months. At that point, prison started to separate us. And then gradually, people start to pull away. And the label starts to get less interested, and gradually it drops. In hindsight, it was the biggest mistake I made, and I paid the price for that.
They just got shut down. So I remember the label was like, yo, like, everything's cancelled. Like, Radio 1 don't want to speak to you no more. MTV don't want to speak to you no more. Police are basically saying, like, clubs will lose their license if you book any of these type of artists. Like, literally, we're fucked.
At that time, people wasn't feeling like that soulful. People was upset. Some people was first getting into guns and knives.
London has just had its worst year for almost a decade for fatal stabbings. To try to reverse the trend, there will be more stop and search.
If you are black, you are 8 times more likely to be stopped and searched by a police officer than any other ethnic group.
That's when the sound become known and created. Like, let's just take all the melodies off, throw them all, just get rid of them. Just turn the bass up, add more distortion, get the pain out, get the frustration out. The music was the therapy, the music was the place that you could come and it was like I kind of put your weapons down.
That's where I got stabbed, right there, actually. Look.
I was stabbed in my lung on that road. When I was 13. Just wrong place, wrong time. Communicating with the wrong guy, you know what I'm saying? After that, I had like an inner vim. I had passion I didn't have, you know what I'm saying?
Between Newham Borough and Hackney Borough, you've got Tower Hamlets. And in Tower Hamlets, you've got Bow. And this is where grime started.
Tower Hamlets has the worst overcrowding in England and Wales. By stark contrast, it's also home to the luxury and affluence of Docklands.
It was completely like multicultural, working class, no one had a lot of money. It's like one of the first areas where it's like just completely mixed up.
So wherever the Bronx is to hip-hop, that's what Tower Hamlets and Newham is to grime.
It was a key part for us because it helped, I think, just gel everything together.
Garage was closed, champagne, that was a bit more bubbly. I didn't really like the vocals. I just used to love playing dark music, really. I was playing like some slow down drum and bass, trying to just make it different. It's good for the MCs, basically. See, this is drum and bass, this is jungle speed. And turn it down, Chris. But it's really there. I would slow it down to 33. I'm saying it's dark, innit? It's like evil, that. I mean, I wanted to play it for them so they could spit on the tunes so people could hear it. We were just playing it and making it. We didn't know what we had until we had it.
We was just taking jungle elements, the sound culture, the garage culture, and it was like a combination all into one. It's just loads of noise, loads of mics, loads of everything going on.
Instead of having an uplifting tune with a female vocal on it, we would then start making instrumentals that were more bass-driven, that were more sparse, more gritty, and we just ran with that.
Okay, listen. Yes, my name's Wiley and Grime. I'm trying to say you won't get the sight because you won't get by, won't pass. Don't put it past. You will never ever outlast them. You know fast, and they can't blast. No side words will they ever outclass. Watch it, they gon' break MCs. Don't really just the new MCs. When I just the new MCs. They get no shit, the new MCs. Hold them up with top dude, okay.
Let's go back, that needs improving. You're try to draw me like cause you're losing. And the ego will get the bruises. And I'm sure that must be confusing. Me, for the white thing.
We had MCs that weren't just kind of hosting and toasting in the rave. They wanted to say what was going on in the block or talk about their life story.
And that is the kind of like journey of like, all right, cool, that's how we end up in grime.
There's one issue of ID in particular I want to pull out for you. When I moved to London and I got more involved in the garage scene, I found myself at odds because the music was incredible to dance to, yet it was very against the austerity that was appearing in society. And this was to profile the grime scene as it was at the time. And it felt like you had two groups of people at work. One was saying, basically, sod it, we're gonna get the champs, we're gonna have to close, we're gonna do this life that we wanna do. And then there was the other side saying, but hang on a minute, I can't afford to go to the studio, can't afford to get a bus. But I quickly realised that for me, what was happening in East London was far, far, far more exciting. It felt like a completely different subculture to anything we'd ever experienced before.
Wiley's famous hats.
Wiley's original thing was his name was Wildchild and he was a DJ. He wasn't an MC. He was just one of the DJs.
Wiley was like a myth in our area, so you'd always hear about Wiley's about what he weren't about.
Like, you might be driving them past in a fly tracksuit, and I'm like, bro, do you see Wiley? Like, you just come through Devon's Road. You know, it was like, you'll get starstruck for a moment at that time when you see someone like Wiley.
Sure, tell them fake niggas don't get involved in big boy business. Leave it alone, you see humans cool, don't get him involved. Just hiding a max or doing it alone. Niggas selling one beef, catch them alone. It's a whole new ball game, punches get from you not know. On the street level side boy,
Wiley deserves the Godfather title.
Don't run the rums with boy. You will never run with boy. That should mean that's not fun. I war with no feelings with boy. I'm the reason, I'm the meaning with boy. They don't want to say no.
I met Wiley around, I can take it right the way back to like 10 years old. And we started a little rap group called Cross Colours. So we had our little moment trying to be rappers really early on, didn't really go anywhere. And then there was nothing kind of collective until we started doing the jungle thing. We went onto the radio, playing jungle music under SS Crew, and then from there, we decided to come together and make Pay As You Go Cartel, which obviously was a lot more successful, and then Roll Deep. But SS Crew, that's where it all started for me, and the likes of Wiley and a lot of the guys in and around our local area of like Bow, that's where it definitely started for us.
When he did become an MC and he became the biggest, it was part of his responsibility, without saying it, to find more of this talent and grow this talent and set the bar higher for everyone. So Wiley set the bar really high.
This is Wiley and Dizzee, and it's the first time I ever got them into Touch magazine. This was 2002. Dizzee was 17 here. We went down to 3 flats in Bow, and I'd arranged to meet Wiley. It was just one of those ones you hope he turns up. So they brought Dizzee with him. I remember Dizzee was really quiet on the day, and Wiley kept nudging him like, no, you talk, bro, like.
Let's roll. I touch you on his way. What?
How important was Wiley in your career?
He's someone I really, as a youth, I looked up to a lot, because I was bang on jungle.
Right.
And also Rico as well. I used to listen to DWE as well. It was more Forest Gate.
Right.
It's not East London or Forest Gate. They are just olders in my area, innit?
Right.
Dizzy's from our area, and he was like a young one, and he was really passionate and really eager.
Nothing sounded like this at the time, you know what I mean? Because I was just on some different shit.
This tune stood out to me, man. This was the...
It's the go off as well. I learned to MC on jungle and then garage before I started spitting on grime. It was quite aggy, there was a lot of attitude. At that time, whether you was in the youth club or the rave or whatever, you usually had to kind of be the loudest, the most aggressive to get the mic in the first place. So I think that's where I learned about them, all that. I don't even really spit like that no more, but back then, and then my beats were just so dark and off-key that it just suited it. And I don't know why, I was just mad back then. I was just spazzed. I didn't really overthink stuff.
Yo, if a girl know where you say that's for, some banging at you go, what for? Pregnant, what you talking about before? 15, she's underage, that's raw. And against
2002, I was in prison. Wiley and Slimzy used to send me CDs and tapes. The end of my sentence, I was sent I Love You. Heard it, I was thinking, this is so different. This is amazing.
Keep calling my phone, don't leave me alone. Just moan and groan, keep ringing me at home. These days I don't answer my phone.
That boy's some killer, all up in my hair. Thinks that I care, following me here, following me there. These days I can't go nowhere.
Alright, she's a bad girl on the bus though. It's Captain Roscoe with a crossbow. She came, she got picked up, yo.
So Dizzee was probably like the first to get signed. It was like amazing news, like someone got a 6-figure deal in the hood.
I think it got good press around the world as well, and it was just seen as the sound of it just sounded so different. The first place I performed in America was Williamsburg, and me and Slimzy did a set. One of the first rap groups at South by Southwest, which wasn't a hip-hop thing then.
He was phenomenal, man. His sound was still like authentic, raw. It was Bow. And not just Bow, it was London. It was like our culture.
When the people saw Dizzee Rascal with his hat to the side, we called it an angry man. Oh my God, I feel like that as well. They're having the same experiences with us, with society. This is what I need to be listening to.
It gave people the confidence to become themselves. I can create my sound, and it doesn't have to be like anything else I've heard.
I love you.
You lot have got tunes that shoot in the shops like no other people, man.
Yeah,
man.
Wait, you know what the funny thing about it is, like, the tunes we're putting in the shop now, yeah, they're tunes that we made when we were still in school at that year 11 and shit. That's the truth, innit? Like, Rapper and Dirty are just doing their thing, innit? Dirty's not even here, but watch out for him, the biggest producer in the hood.
Yeah, man. So here we are, my bedroom, my old bedroom. And this is the famous wall where I used to like tag everyone's name, write all the dates of my releases. So now we had Roll Deep, Wiley, Dizzee, and so on, you know? And like these guys were like literally about 5 minutes down the road. They became people that we could look up to, but for a good reason.
Mine a little setup.
Back in the day, that I begged my dad to get me. The tiny PC, I just wanted to play games, but if I wanted to do my homework and stuff.
Man started off with Fruity Loops, innit? I'm still on the Fruity, though.
They had this program called Fruity Loops. So I just thought it was another game. And I just decided to just try it out.
Grime, at first, when people were playing making it, they were just using like little computers, not really technical Fruity Loops or something like that.
Everyone who uses Fruity Loops, don't let no one hold you down. You can be a top boy with Fruity Loops. I use Fruity Loops, and all them other Logic guys can't chat to you, get what I'm trying to say, but Fruity Loops, man, them rep.
Back then, they were just using loops and basses like Pulse X. It's quite simple, isn't it? That bong, bong, bong,
dong, dong, Well, it's like making an omelette. It's kind of like, okay, I'm not the best chef, but here's some eggs.
Just throw it
give me a bunch of this stuff, cool. Like making the best of what you got. We weren't musicians, so I feel my way through it, making something out of nothing.
This means writing, I put pen to paper, musical art I'm crafting, give it time I big for passing, used to start out by it's me who's laughing, I lyrically damage ya, then physically beat up your cardiovascular.
It was just a vibe, you know, it was something that we could do and not get in trouble. You know, like, if you're running around on the road, getting up to madness, then you're gonna get in trouble, innit? But when you find something that's creative, it takes your mind away from anything negative. Big up this computer. Real talk. I wish I still had it. I made use of it. I made the money back from the computer, but I never gave my dad's money back. I got loads of like Rewind magazines from back in the day, some that we featured in as well. Back then I was called Dirty Danger. I was part of a group called Rough Squad, legendary group. Like, if you know, you know.
Yeah, I got no more patience left in me. I've been waiting patiently for the whole time. Gonna stand up too when it's show time. Now I don't get crime, but I put lines. Some on the phone hard when I run mine. Some on the keep up, but they be kind. Some can't keep up, so they resign.
Rough Squad, the majority of us, I guess, from Ghana, innit? A lot of Africans. Rough Squad, when we was coming up and that, we wasn't trying to be something where we didn't know of. We just thought, you know what, we love MCing.
I don't think I've ever jacked this tune up before, so I had to do it.
We didn't have a business hat on, basically, when we was making this music. It was strictly just for making the music. And I think the things we were going on the streets, they come out in the instrumentals, they come out in our lyrics, they come out in our bars, and it was original.
I'm begging you, hear him out. If you're still talking, Captain, air him out. Poor soldier kids are clear him out. All I want to know is where are they and where.
When I was making it, it wasn't called grime. When you ask people, everyone who's like the originals from the scene, who named it grime, nobody did.
The word grime came from the industry, not from us.
I'll be honest with you, when it first came around, none of us was a fan of it. We was doing a conference up north in England. Someone asked the question, what is grime? And I remember Crazy Titch, which is another grime legend, Crazy Titch was getting proper upset. Like, I don't do grime. Like, what is grime? Like, that's a bit of shit. That's a bit of shit on your trainer.
Grime is, to me, the sound of the street, sound of underground dark garage, MC spitting bad bars.
Garage and grime. The two are like that. So basically grime, yeah, is us not really being allowed in the garage dance because they didn't want us in there because they just thought we were trouble.
It's weird, but then at the same time, it is what it is now, so we just embrace it and keep it growing.
What it is about that sound is, for me, that it matched my energy as a human being. The aggressive style, very forward, you know, very up front. I don't know why, it's just something in the water down here that just made us like this.
Probably what we've called normal probably isn't so normal, but it's all we know. Crime in the streets, that option's always there. We chose this, you know, and I think the best art comes from that, you know. The best art comes from, you know, not necessarily the best circumstances or the best starts in life.
It was just all like so natural. I didn't know what I was creating in that time. I didn't know what it meant. Remember, there was no numbers to look at. Yeah, so like nowadays, like the kids can see the numbers of who they're reaching. We couldn't see that. So you just have your inner circle giving you feedback, like, yeah, that was cold. I didn't know this is how far the music was reaching.
8-bar is like the most simplest form of an arrangement on a song. 8-bar of one arrangement, 8-bar of another.
There's been a number of different records where you've had like a bunch of different MCs on one record, all kind of going head to head on an 8-bar song. Then a bunch of producers would then make tracks that were facilitating that. So like every 8 bars, the track maybe would switch up into something else, or you go from one type of vibe to the next. So 8 bars has been synonymous with grime music, I guess, since the early days.
Dizzee was the first example of somebody being signed, but you know there was a lot of other artists queuing up behind them to kind of come through.
When I was on the mic, I loved it. Every week when I go on the station, I got new lyrics. I'm from the days of making sure you're sounding hard.
Head get mangled and dangled to the side of the tackle where my tangled. Everything I'm on the back of bank.
After DWD, it was kind of like, that was it for me. You know, I wanted to do what he was doing. Yeah, he's the MCs, yeah.
People never really knew what anyone looked like.
Back then you had to have the voice to cut through. I feel like a lot of it right now is image. Back then, it was the voice.
So it's like, the radio station was doing a lot, man. It was doing a lot.
Back then, grime was underground music. My last song on the night, I'll play it. People will look at me and think, well, what am I doing? But I'm playing future music.
Slimzy, he always gets forgotten, but he gave a platform for all the MCs. Without Slimzy, the whole grime scene wouldn't even gone forward.
The underground back then and the overground were two different things, where I feel like in today's market, the overground can get it, the underground can get it. You just go on your streaming app and you listen to it.
None of this would happen without the drug dealers. Drug dealers put on the raves, drug dealers risk their liberty to put up radio stations.
Are we feeling daring on these red lights? All down here used to be markets. I mean, they're gentrifying the area now, so it's kind of like there was a bigger community back then.
Where are we right now? Tell us.
Tottenham High Road, opposite the McDonald's here. So Heat FM, in late '99, I come over from South London.
With 24 hours, the 240, he's in 240 town. Tottenham, we're out here, yeah? Don't stop.
You're right, father? What's happening, big boy? You're blessed?
Yeah, man.
Heat FM, Chris J, lovely guy, can be not so lovely sometimes. Might get there, might set the dog on you. For fun. Big dude.
Tottenham CID office, quite conveniently, was parked up at the top there. And they didn't think nothing of squads of like 15, 20 black boys rolling up to do a set. You're good, father? I'm good. On the opposite side of here, on the second floor, we had the studio. Big steel gates, Onyx the dog. He's a little staffy pit bull that bit the shit out of Tinchy Strider.
I told my mum I got bit by a stray dog, man. Where was it? I can't say I went to North London to Pirate Radio. Nothing's legit there.
No one's parents knew where they were.
Nobody's parents knew we was going.
All over London, there was so many pirate radio stations. There was no way into the mainstream at that time. Pirate radio was that first platform that gave us the voice.
You're going up there with your mates. You know everyone's going to have new lyrics. It was healthy competition. It's all like a training ground for writing and how to spit properly on the mic. It's an absolute shithole with chicken boxes laying around, cigarettes, ash, rubbish. That phone didn't used to stop blinging. There's people that want shout out.
Like thousands of people calling the phone.
You big up the numbers that are giving you missed calls. 10 missed calls and we'll bring this song back if you like it.
Well, there's a stage where we had 2 phones because one phone couldn't cope.
You knew once you was on, people were hearing you, like, sometimes outside of London.
You know, the mad thing with pirate radio is you don't know who the fuck's listening. 15 years down the line, people will say, you know, I used to rush home from school and just turn my radio up because it was already locked on that frequency.
What was the frequency?
96.6, so obviously, you know, dickhead over here got it tattooed on his neck. A lot of people used to get hit by Ofcom. People refer to them as DTI. Basically, the radio agencies who used to come out to take stations off.
DTI used to come and rip down people's aerials, so you can just be listening to a set or some music and you just hear.
You're getting chased by DTI and the police at the same time. It went through a bad patch where DTI was coming out every day. So you put an aerial up, it would come straight down. They wanted to take rinse off for good.
Antisocial behaviour for many is the #1 item of concern right on their doorstep.
And what?
Introduced by the Crime and Disorder Act 1998, the main plank of a government's strategy to counter bad behaviour is the Antisocial Behaviour Order, the ASBO.
Oh, did you know Slimzy got the first ever ASBO? The first ASBO, blood. I big up Slimzy, bro. Slimzy's a master, cuz.
I got raided, didn't I? They wanted to prove a point by taking me off. All the other pirates were getting nervous and stopped doing it. So I couldn't go above 4 stories of any tall block. So if I found me up on the 8th floor, if I got caught, I'll go straight to jail for 5 years. After, I had a bit of a breakdown as well in my life. So I took a bit of time out for myself. And I left it for a few years. I just left it. I didn't want nothing to do with it. People wonder where I went.
They really tried hard to put us to an end. It went on like cat and mouse for about 2 weeks. I ended up going through 13 transmitters and we'd run out of money, we'd run out of studio equipment, everything, and I had 1 more left. And we put it in and I was like, this is our last go, and it stayed on. In the end, they give up.
Before the internet, you knew the timetable of your local station, trying to find information on events, and you'd hope your favourite MC might go on. And again, the MC was faceless, because there wasn't always the opportunity to go to raves because you couldn't get a venue in London. And then when the likes of Eskimo Dance, Wiley's rave started, they were in the proper hood. And to anyone who's seen the old footage, it's absolute carnage.
Closest thing I can think that we're like is Jamaican culture. Stage shows, the energy, the reload culture.
If you get a good reception, the DJ will reload it as a sign of appreciation, like, oh my God, you got to do that again. That was the kind of the aim, actually. It was about who can get the most reloads, who can get the biggest reaction. We didn't give a shit about making songs. That came later on.
This is Eskimo, the biggest stars in the ends.
The whole era changed, but you're not raving no more. You're going to a rave like Sign One Day and you're watching the MCs perform. It was just MCs galore.
And they were usually under 18s raves, so they were the worst raves. That's where the worst trouble always was. I've seen girls bottle guys, I've seen all, like, it kicks off.
Crowd began nuts. We're talking probably like 500 kids. It's almost like going to a festival, but in a dingy little club, underground, dark. Barely see us, 1 microphone, wired. And you start noticing people know your lyrics.
ethic, our ethos, really probably was born out of necessity. If you spoke to every MC back then, they would have loved to be a part of the, system. It probably and be a part of a record label and what, you know what I mean?
Record labels turned a blind eye on, well, not a blind eye, just turned an eye on anything that was street music. They didn't want nothing to do with it. And then something amazing happened.
The winner of the 2003 Mercury Music Prize is Dizzee Rascal.
Yes, man, big out the Bowie Free Crew, East London crew, London Stand Up, England, UK talent. Watch out.
And then we was all like, yeah, see, they still care. We're sitting there waiting to get signed again, but no one was calling. So I was just like, I'm gonna start my own record label, man.
If you want to be heard, you got to go and do something about it. Do it yourself. Produce your own song. Go and press white labels up. Give it to DJs. Put it in the shops and turn up at the Rave and perform it. Or put on the Rave yourself. Like, we done everything.
This is independence, all right? Safe.
Where grime was fortunate, there was still a vinyl market, and that's why it was able to work.
Cut onto a white label. By the time I'd got around to I Love You did a lot as far as record shops already, thousands.
You had a bunch of different artists all across London queuing up at pressing plants. Press out 500 records, see if I can sell them. If I'm lucky enough to sell 500, I'll do another press, and that ethos just spread so quickly.
Back then, it'd be like 8 or 9 at night, still waiting to cut a dub plate because there's so many people here.
You had to go and buy a sale or return book from wherever you could get one. You'd have your pen, and you'd have your boxes of records in the back of, at the time I had a Fiat Punto, nearly doing a wheelie because there were so many records in the back. Write on it with a felt tip, bang it on the wall in the shop, and see if you can sell your tunes. Your music had to physically be in front of people for it to be heard.
Yeah, we're on Roman Road right now. I'm gonna show you where Rhythm Division was. Yeah, it's a cafe now. For fuck's sake, it should be a museum. Is that it? That's fucking Rhythm Division. Zealand Cafe. Fuck out of here.
Right now, we're outside Rhythm Division, Multi 3 Roma Road. And if you don't already know, this shop is the first founding shop for grime and UK garage. It's one of the biggest shops in London, if not the UK.
What happened in here? What didn't happen in there? That's a better question. My DJ actually used to buy vinyl every single Saturday, come and pick me up, and would come here and just chill out for 40 minutes and whatnot. You'd always bump into people here as well, you know? Legendary moments.
Rhythm Division was the biggest record shop at this time. They started to realize that this sound was wanted when young DJs were coming into the shop saying, have you got Rough Squad?
At first it was sell and return, SOR. And then the more that we play on radio and the tapes get around, the records start to sell more. That turned from SOR to cash in hand. You know what I'm saying? And then we had a distribution company.
The grime scene was almost like a business school in itself, of you just trying to figure out how to be successful in a scene that's so new, so fresh, has no guidelines, there's no A to Z logbook, you just gotta figure it out.
It was the birthing of an entire industry, completely independent of any rules.
It's a bit of a working process. There's a lot of DJs, you know, they would make tunes and take their tracks to the Rhythm Division and sell their records there. And I kind of noticed that, you know, it was a lot bigger than that, or it could be a lot bigger than that. So me and my business partner, we kind of came up with a concept of, you know, it's time for these artists to be seen.
It's not 8 miles in here.
Round one, fight.
What's with this? I'm hearing all lies about me. Another body in a body bag, you'll be. I kill a man with my bare hands, you'll see. You can't fuck about with Scratchy.
2002, we decided to start filming MCs clashing. There's a real clashing culture within grime. Jammer had a basement where all the artists used to go down to record music. One day he decided to get Wiley and Kano to clash, and it just worked.
What you saying? I'm spraying and I'm snapping back a day, and every day I'm on road all day. Won't have a bar, rude way. What you saying? Constant spraying. Had enough, now I ain't playing. What you saying?
Right now we're in East London. We're in Leytonstone, in the basement of my parents' house, where a lot of unique artists started out recording their music here. This is kind of like, they say, the Abbey Road of grime.
And at the time, the UK wasn't ready for the streets. Like now you're getting Stormzy and Wiley clashed and it's in the charts. Back in the day, like the biggest platform was Lord of the Mics, Jammer's house.
Because the reason why this place become kind of a hub is because at the time around here, there was a lot of things happening. There was like, still was knife crime, you know, there's still a lot of violence, there's still gang culture. I'd see people get hurt, my brother got stabbed through his chest, knife come out his back. You know, I've seen all this stuff happen, so I was just like, this is not it. There's more there's something else for us, you know what I mean? You know, you've seen Skepta down here, you see JME chilling down here, you see Kano down here. I didn't think into, oh, this is gonna give a face to our voices. But what I did know was something special was happening and I needed to document it.
It's got DHE on bang in the head with a BAT. You got head with a CUT. Get blood on the TOP.
Nobody had seen anything like this before, because when people put themselves up and say, right, I'm going to clash, you are essentially risking your career. You would hear when there were certain lines said, but you think, oh, how's he ever going to come back from that, you know?
Innit? Yo, girl, I like her breasts, innit? Love to see her undressed, innit? Take her to my house to watch TV. Next thing you know, I was sex, innit?
So it was a real-life soap drama.
Yeah, me and Wiley, we had a little clash for Lord of the Mics. And I don't remember when it was, but I know I was 17.
What happened in that clash?
What happened? I don't know.
Them boy not ready for the war, we draw the chainsaw and the lyrical war. And I bet you never knew I had the keys to the door. Some boy forget blades with a 4x4.
Yo, I'm from the hood, but it's just home. And ain't no place like home, sweet home. There's a whole heap of heat on the street, some plastic and some chrome. Who's gonna hold me back once I start? You crazy? I'll shut you up with a dum-dum, you baby.
That was very hot. It's level.
The DVDs help to put faces to names, basically, so a wider audience could be familiar with the faces of grime.
That helped fans connect with the artists in a way that they was never able to connect with them before.
DVDs were showcases to even A&Rs and major labels all around the world.
And you got DVDs over here as well, and mixtapes. Lord of the Mic, Practice Hours, Bound to Blow, Risky Roads. Anything you want, it's here.
Put them in cases, bruv.
I'd been friends with Wiley, Slimzy, Genius. And then one day I thought, although this is normal to me because I'm seeing this every single day, what I see, other people would love to see. That Christmas, someone bought me a camera. My Practice Hours DVDs was born from that.
This is Practice Hours, yeah.
Practice hours.
Practice Hours.
Practice hours.
Practice hours, yeah? Watch it. Pitney chicks do walk in the streets, you don't know about my old techniques and I'm 7. And 98 don't see it.
It's just a guy and a camera with no training, putting the camera in your face. It was DIY, and that was the beauty of it.
I didn't know a lot, so technically, it was all daunting. At the start, I had like 5 tapes, and I would actually record over some of them.
They documented everything. It's like they knew it was going to be important. And then to do this and press up DVDs and to sell them, like that kind of hustle is what separates our genre from other genres, I believe.
We took the same philosophy that we had as kids growing up in the London estates and, you know, hustling. We took that same philosophy into music, into DVDs, and get the same return, even a better return, without police kicking down your front door. And for us, that was a beautiful thing.
having chart success and going back to the underground was very hard for me. There was a bit of a sense of embarrassment, like, look, you thought you was gone, but now you're back with us. I had to have thick skin because I was more or less like the most well-known person in the room, so everyone was attacking me, like lyrically. As much as whatever they want to say, everyone is trying to get a top 10 hit. Everyone's trying to get a record deal. I've had it. It's not gone well. So when I'm on the radio, guys are saying things on the mic that I'm not saying my name, but I know who they're talking about. I had to just get determined to be like, no, Biz, you're gonna face a lot of shit from these guys. So just make sure when you go back up there that you're prepared and don't let none of that shit phase you.
Okay, right now, get a one-way roll. Fuck off your top, is that where your tits go? What you doing? The girl's got no breast, man. What you doing? Push out the east to the A-cut. What you doing? No pun, don't even deserve, don't lose me. Face fucked up like Mike. What you doing? Woody cat, what you doing? Arcade, what you doing? Barrymore, what you doing? 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 Pow, 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 pow.
I was like, fuck this shit. Started a label called Lethal Busy Records. The first release ended up being Pow.
Pow! Yeah, I'm lead for the beat. Pow! If you don't know about me, pow! Better ask someone quickly, cause pow! Yeah, I'm pow! You know, pow!
Pow, I remember the first time hearing that, yeah, it was like I heard something that aliens had made. I didn't know what I was hearing.
You're barking up the wrong tree, the spotlight's on me. Start with a few more, how with the moon. I live in a bus if there's no room.
Pow was ultimately almost like a fuck the system type thing. Like, there was no intention of us even trying to get a record deal for it. When Pow charted on Christmas week, I think it was number 11 we got to. It was like a big win for me, but it was a big win for the culture and the street scene again, because the labels were like, oh, okay, you know what, this thing is not dead. And that's when I said, holy shit, like, something's happening here.
There was different platforms to get your music heard. Channel U was like, it was like pirate radio, but visually.
Some manners don't like me, they try and bad mind me when Kano comes to town.
Channel U was that was our MTV, innit? Yeah. Sidewinder was when everything got like countrywide, because the tape packs flew about everywhere. But as far as the TV visually, Channel U.
Anyone and everyone could be on there, and it was just so entertaining at its time.
Chung fam.
Mr. Wong.
Mr. Wong.
So look on my slates.com/1grime and book me for a PA that I'll surely fuck up with. I'll be there on time.
Come on. Everything that would be on Grime Daily now, basically. Yeah.
It was like YouTube before YouTube. Yeah, it was actually that. You know, it made a lot of people rich and famous as well.
I started seeing the traction and the legs it was gaining, the momentum.
It was suddenly like grime was emerging.
This was at Cafe de Paris. Amy Winehouse was on that bill. She was warming me up. She was on before me. Remember that?
Good show.
Those were not good genes.
People wanted to know more. I started doing interviews with people that I never heard of, like The Enemy, ID, all these big magazines. They wanted to like know what's going on.
Things just like massively changed. I was like, this is something I'm gonna take seriously.
I remember I got a picture from a DJ and he was at this event. There was a note, do not play any Lethal Bizzle songs. Club owners started getting worried. You hear this song and people are fucking going mad. As a business owner, you're thinking, I don't want this in my club.
I think they wasn't used to seeing that energy in the club. Probably scared them.
When Pow was out, it was like, it got banned, you know, from certain places, which is crazy. This is just a young boy from the ends that's kind of making something of his life. Like, I just don't get it.
So I was like, oh, here we go again. Back to fucking square one. And then that's when this form 696 started coming into play.
Form 696 was a form given to club promoters, primarily those that were delivering anything to do with Black or Asian music, asking you for information on the music, the artists who were performing at your event, their dates of birth, telephone number, addresses. It felt, to many, it was racist, and they also had the power to stop your event happening if they felt there was a threat.
The Met's 696 form disproportionately impacts people from Black and ethnic minority backgrounds.
Trouble happens at football matches. Trouble happens at rock concerts. There's a fight at a grime rave. Oh my God, grime is, it's evil. It's creating all these problems and whatever else. And we couldn't understand why that was happening to us.
Every rave that got put on, police would always come and shut it down.
I had my first concert that was in Astoria, sold out show. Like a couple of days leading up to it, they just cancelled it for no reason. And police said there's probably going to be trouble there or something. It was just ridiculous. And it happened with Garage, So Solid Crew, and trying to shut them down.
2006, it was like a ghost town. There was no events. The underground was at a standstill.
The way they enforced it by like threatening promoters with huge fines, taking away club licenses, like there was no way of wriggling around it.
Form 696 was finally scrapped just in 2017.
The government was blaming grime for the crime at the time, just like they're doing now.
Crime rate was kind of going up in the UK at the time. All these lazy fuckers do, they just try and find an excuse for the reason why these things are happening.
At the same time as this was going on, we did have a lot of media focus on Trident, which was a black-on-black crime unit, and focusing very much on gun crime. Here's another, chance to talk about guns and hip-hop, and it's the same, let's be honest, same shit, different day.
I remember calling David Cameron a donut and just telling him, like, you don't understand, like, we just speak our reality, like, you lot have put us in these places and this is our reality, so we've got every right to speak about it.
I don't really see how it's the music's fault. It's because it's popular in an area, within a culture, where not everyone's had a great life.
Once the vinyl market started decreasing, no bookings because of Form 696, where's the money?
Imagine turning up to a party with 30 of your mates and they open the door and they say, one of you can come in, the other 30, you gotta stay outside. And there'd be like one party a year. So that was like, after a while, I think people were just like, how do we get into this party? How do we actually crack the mainstream?
What's up, darling? I've been keeping my eye on your movement. I can't see no room for improvement. But when you're all over there on your jack...
Dance With Me, Holiday, they're not grime songs. If you think that, then I don't know, I can't help you hit it.
Cause I'm the man for the job, let me work here.
People you associate as being grime artists, like Wiley, like Skepta, like myself, like Tinge or whatever, made pop songs.
Come and dance with me, come and dance with me, come dance with me. I see you.
People were like trying things that were like crossing the boundaries of grime.
I ride motherfucking beat like a tractor. I ride motherfucking beat like a tree.
Stations like BBC One Extra, when they're like inviting you down and you're coming into this big building, it's like, this is the BBC. You've just entered the room, but before you, Usher was in there doing an interview.
Hey, look, pounds or pennies, I don't scrounge off.
So you know you're in the right place.
I'm on the A13 on the way to the city, where the lights are bright with some boys that like to fight. I'm leaning out the window, smoking a spliffy.
I always loved the side of grime for the passion, the aggression, but I thought, let me try and give it some more depth and come at it from another angle. And yeah, just started experimenting, which I think we should as a musician.
It was a good thing because grime was everywhere, literally, but the sound was getting lost. The flavour just goes and it just becomes something generic now.
industry people started to take notice of what was happening and just came and ruined it. Didn't really understand the essence of what it was and why it was happening. And just saw it as oh, this is fun, this is popular, and people like it, so let's get involved.
And now they're trying to market this to Middle England. But Middle England at that point hasn't had enough examples from this culture or black culture from this country, period, to know how to market it in a cool way. They've only seen how Americans have been able to do it.
And I don't think they ever took the time to understand it, so when they got involved, it didn't change it from what it was.
We went through that process. We're signed to a major. Everything's exciting. We're getting dragged into meetings. All of a sudden, we've got a stylist. I'm standing in a room. There's this woman dressing me. I'm like, so uncomfortable, it's a joke. They make us re-record the record about 8 times. By the time it gets to the end result, I don't even recognize it anymore. I don't even know what we're doing, it's such a mess. They make us shoot a video, they convince us this video is gonna be great. Young people get into music, they create something so organic themselves, and instead of taking that raw material and just delivering it to the world, they change it, water it down, make it something it ain't.
Good morning and welcome to election 2010 with Sean Williams and John Sophie.
Britain is heading for a hung parliament with the Conservatives as the largest party.
In this new world comes the reckoning for Labour's economic incompetence. The age of irresponsibility is giving way to an age of austerity.
People had to start thinking, well, hang on a minute, if I actually want to be a musician and I don't want to do illegal activity, how am I going to make money? And people started making changes to their music as a result, and I don't think you can blame them for that.
The climate around me was chasing success by any means necessary.
When things happen to subcultures like that, people are very, very quick to move away from them.
These guys were becoming, you know, successful and crossing over and having a mainstream career. But what always happens with that is that it's too commercial now. People start going off it, and they want the next hard shit. You know what I'm saying?
At the time, all this kind of artists dabbling in the mainstream was happening. I remember I was in Ibiza with Roddy, and I remember turning on the news and just seeing fires and stuff going on all over the country, and it was like, what is this?
Scotland Yard say 26 police officers were injured in violence last night in North London. More than 40 people were arrested after buildings were set on fire and shops were looted.
Mark Duggan was the man police shot dead in Tottenham last Thursday night. The demonstration that followed wanted answers. The riots that followed wanted something else.
People who are responsible for this wrongdoing and criminality, you will feel the full force of the law.
I don't like to condemn protesting and peaceful ways of doing things. I don't want to condemn it. I don't want to do that. But the history books clearly show us, change has come from literally fighting and burning shit down for it. Because that's the only time they care, when it's affecting money, when it's affecting the economy. That's the only time anyone really cares. Listen, most of these people higher up, they come from lineages of savages that literally fought to have things and change the law to make you look like you, the poor, look like savages. When in actuality, if you check the background, if you check their history and what's what, who were the savages then?
The the traditional right-wing national press. This was just another chance to essentially, you know, send for the black man.
I've just been rereading Enoch Powell, The Rivers of Blood speech. His prophecy was absolutely right. The whites have become black, a particular sort of violent, destructive, nihilistic gangster culture has become the fashion. And black and white, boy and girl operate in this language together. This language which is wholly false, which is a Jamaican patois that's been intruded in England. And this is why so many of us have this sense of literally a foreign country.
Because a lot of people would say, oh, it's the rap that influences what's happening, but it's not. It's what's happening that influences the raps. Because if we weren't going through it, we wouldn't be rapping about it. And it's like, that's why these people out here are listening to this rap music, because they finally feel that there's someone out there that relates to them. You feel like you're not worth anything. You feel like you're not going to get anything in life. So you go into a fuck the world mode. I think that is one of the major reasons why the riots happened.
People like Skepta, while he's still breathing, he won't allow the genre to die. He's a key figure in why grime's still alive.
I grew up in Tottenham, North London, with my three brothers. And so then when they got into music, I was just around. Skepta was a rebel, naughty, just the worst kid. But in a beautiful way.
Waste man when this my crew. Say waste man when it's on my crew. Waste man boss can't fit on my crew. Try hard when it's still sound shit on my crew. Producers wanna boot.
The riots that happened in Tottenham and that moment for Junior where he had what he calls his nervous breakdown. I think they just reminded everybody who they were. Sometimes it takes tragedy to do that.
And as I said, I'm not condoning it. I am very sure that I would have been out there looting a few years ago before my music career kicked off. I would definitely been out there. Definitely been out there.
And I think Junior, Skepta, was a brilliant example of someone who felt like he was in control, he lost control, and then was like, I'm getting my control back.
Because even Skepta was in that wave of, you know, the labels saying you gotta make this type of stuff. And as soon as he said, I'm stop listening to these fucking labels, let me just do what I wanna do.
No person is gonna make me feel that I'm not talented. Get out there, use your resources, be positive.
What you mean, what you mean?
And rub that I can't be attitude off your skin.
One day I bucked him and he showed me this beat.
One line flows, yeah, I got some of those.
But I can't finish this tune with like that keyboard jammer, man. Where's that keyboard? I said, what keyboard? He said, the Korg, man. So let me try and get this. Oh, it's a big boy out. This keyboard is a Korg Trinity. If it didn't exist, I don't think the sound of grime would exist. A lot of those sounds that were sampled on Fruity Loops actually was sampled from Korg. Let's see if we can get some sound out of this.
Nah, that's not me. Act like a waste man, that's not me. Sex any girl, nah, that's not me. Lips any girl, nah, that's not me. Yeah, I used to wear Gucci, I put it all in the bin, cause that's not me. True, I used to look like you, but dressing like a mess, nah, that's not me.
The genre as a whole, I think, bounced back around 2014. I remember actually having a conversation with Skepta. He was fed up, because he'd made a bunch of mainstream records that still weren't quite hitting where he would have wanted them to. It's like, I'm going to go to America and just do it from the ground up there. I remember thinking, that's going to be really hard. I was like, bruv, good luck with it. But I honestly, I didn't know how that was going to go. And then he went and did it, and the game changed.
Can I take your portrait, boss?
Yeah, man's out here in traffic. Zimmy. Out here. On the corner of Houston and Broadway.
That Skepta run that he created from going out to New York, slumming it, sleeping on somebody's couch, walking 35 blocks to go to a studio, and turning up outside radio stations, like doing like a hustle, self-sufficient thing, but he did it in New York. Being able to go and do shows with 10,000, 5,000 people outside of New York and people going crazy to like grime records. Seeing that was mind-blowing.
More people started making grime again. More people started taking it more seriously. Like, bro, this is our sound, this is our culture, this is our identity. Cool, if you want to make that label stuff, each to their own, but don't forget, like, this is what we actually do.
We had to start saying no to things and remembering who we are and saying this is what we want to do, and if you don't like it, that's okay.
It's just like taking control of what you actually own. What group do you know that's never released an album that's headlined every festival?
I used to wear LV, put it all in the because that's not true. I used to look like Uber. No.
This is I Spy with me and Skepta. 200,000 copies sold. We don't want to be signed to a major. We don't want to do anything. We don't want nothing. We're going to do it our way.
You know, all of us have put our, basically our money where our mouth is and said, listen, this is the music we want to make. It was probably the best decision we ever fucking made, to be honest, because every time we've realized that we dictate the direction we're going in is when we've made the biggest impacts.
On the same spot where I was arguing with Crazy Titch on the roof, like 10 years later, I was bouncing along the Olympics.
Remember, we started this music to be heard by our local neighborhoods. It was all very underground. We never had expectations of mainstream success.
The 2016 Hyundai Mercury Prize to go to Skepta.
I'm just so thankful. I've been trying to do this music stuff and work it out for so long, but it was the moment where I was like, yo, let's kind of do this for ourselves. No record label. We just travel the world.
Stormzy is a great example of what a lot of us didn't think we would ever see. You have literally grown up with Skepta, DWE, Wiley, Lethal B, Dizzee Rascal. This is what happens when you've seen all these people and now you want to say something on a microphone. This is what happens.
Grime is the foundation and we built the bricks. And now it's time for like people like Stormzy to come through and reap the benefits.
They're still powerful songs now.
It's just timeless music.
Congratulations to Stormzy taking Best Grime Act for a second year running.
I was expecting maybe this amount of people, but this is like mad. Yeah. Crazy.
Headlining Glastonbury, to us, then, you couldn't even, there was no way, how? It was never for us. Even when you saw Dizzee doing Pyramid Stage, Dizzee's had to do like a few mainstream songs, he's blown up, and even then, he's not headlined. The levels that had been set, Stormzy came through and he's kind of broken through every ceiling that had been set before. I feel proud. Like, I was in the crowd watching Stormzy, and I literally had a lump in my throat. Like, it was almost like I was seeing 30 years of stuff happening to get to that point.
Stormzy headlining Glastonbury, it's like, that's great. It's only taken us 30 years to acknowledge our own country's culture of music. It's like, well done. Thanks for taking your time.
We done something so cool, so amazing that everybody wanted to be a part of it. Because in the beginning, no majors label wanted to touch us. But as soon as you got the whole country saying your name, you become an interest because your boss is going to say, why aren't these guys in our office?
Grime to me is youth trying to do for themselves. Back then, grime would be vinyl and DVDs. Today, it's YouTube and Spotify. It's about getting up and doing something for yourself and getting out of the system.
It's like respecting the roots. It's about growth, but not forgetting where you came from.
We're still here, we ain't lost ourselves. Genius is about to say something. We got some news for you, yeah? Today we got given a radio license.
Right now, we're just sitting in the latest, the most recent Rinse studio. 25 years ago, this was someone's kitchen. The Dex was next to the sink. No matter what happens, Rinse is part of the culture. Rinse is like a massive part of underground music going mainstream.
I come back in 2014, got my show back on Rinse. It's come a long way, innit? You got Stormzy, you got Dizzee, you got Wiley, you've got Dave as well. They're millionaires. It's covered in grime, like, it's just... and there's me with nothing, you know what I mean?
There's always gonna be hurdles, stumbling blocks, or sometimes, blatant attempts to silence us.
It's the culture that surrounds it. It's the work rate and the ethos and like all of the stuff that creates that person that wants to get out there and really do it. I think that's what Grime's legacy is.
You can't stop where you're from. And this is why grime will never disappear, because it's like saying England's gonna disappear. We kind of come in and showed the British culture for the first time, pure UK guys from the block doing what we do.
It's just about telling our story because no one's gonna do it for us. I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. I just know we're gonna be here. We're gonna be in that future, you know?
Where Reggie Craig got rich as fuck. East London, who am I to mess tradition up? Jellied eels, pine mash, 2 pints of that pride on tap, polo top, pair stands, flat cap and a Burberry Maxim. Asbo kids and a crackhead, superintendents on the park bench, brown packet. Yeah, that's the hood. Yeah, that's the hood. I'm just a 2-pack nigga in a town full of shooks. Trying to be straight in this town full of crooks. Knowing you never seen a man buy a Bentley with a boat. We take to water like a duck. Headed to the green, but getting caught up in the rough. Story of my life, and I'm just giving you the crux.
Keep on turning, we keep on earning. Streets lead towards the spires. Be sure we keep on moving forward. Straight as the arrows fly.
Back when Lethal Bizzle was Lethal B. This is how we used to done the dancing east. We used to spit 16s till they called police. Probably somewhere in a party or a dark shall be. This is England, this is England. Where you could be a villain or a victim. Where you make money, make it out, avoid pen. That's the idiot's guide to the manor, my friend. It's been a long time coming, like Sam said. A change gonna come for the masses. Bars back, get that dance shit a damn rest. Rap for the have-nots and the have-less. This my Rocky stairway flow. Something those Apollos wouldn't know. Brother and the mother, where's daddy? Fucking same old, same old. Face bothered, suit, free piece, Nucky Thompson. Fight against the odds to the top like Jack Johnson. You can keep the more money if you keep the problems. I can keep it real, can you keep it 100? Just bought a soda, pound sign said. Stripped an underground king of his highness. Now what become